So I get so many questions and I try and answer as many as I can in the time that I have, but I thought why not make another Q&A video? Hey folks, my name's Allie, let's get started. So we are back in front of the Christmas little corner in front of the fireplace. That was the microwave. I'm drying flowers. Okay, so I have my laptop here and we are going to get started. I have selected comments that I thought would be most helpful for my viewers and just people who find these videos. So let's get started. So our first question is from Carol and she says, I am confused with the difference between the keto diet and just low carb diet. What's the difference? The fat amount, I'm afraid of eating too much protein, but I don't want to be hungry. Okay, so just a regular low carb diet could be anything from like 100 grams of carbs or lower. So that's what a low carb diet could be, because usually most Americans, I believe, eat around like 200 or 250 grams of carbs per day. So the difference between just a low carb diet and a keto diet is that a keto diet is an extremely low carb diet where we eat 20 to 25 net grams of carbs per day. Some people don't even do net grams, they just do regular old carb grams. So what that means is that with a ketogenic diet, your body is placed into a state of ketosis where it's forced to run on fat. And so for weight loss, that's really useful because you're going to eat the fat off of your body. And so from my Keto Police video, Tea Time left this comment and he said, or she said, I thought you'd have talked about another aspect of keto policing, making sure that others know that eating organic, grass-fed meat and dairy is the only way to go. I hear that all the time. Yes, you guys, I can't even afford to shop at like a nicer grocery store. Like I shop at Walmart because I'm broke all the time. So yeah, no, like if you're looking for weight loss and not just like the super maximum amount of health that you can have, like you can definitely do this diet, you know, eating just meats that you find that are cheap. I know it's not the best thing. I know that they have hormones and things, but it's just not practical for everybody. So I say, you know, figure out what's most important to you. For me, it was weight loss. I just needed to lose it. And there are so many other people out there that it's one of the biggest factors affecting their health. So I say, you know, just do what's best for you, what you can afford, and that's all that matters. So Glenda asked, can you tell us what you ate to lose your weight? Okay, so when I started out, I used to eat all the fun stuff like that we talk about on keto. Oh yeah, I was eating bacon every day for breakfast, and I was eating lots of eggs with lots of cheese on them and lots of butter. I was making keto nachos using pork rinds and things like that. And that was probably for about the first few weeks, maybe even the first month. It's hard to remember. And I did that just to kind of get used to the food. I had read that, you know, starting out, don't worry too much about, you know, calories. Just stick to the 20 grams of carbs per day thing. So that's what I did. And I just kind of got used to the food. I fell in love with the food. And so, but now it's definitely a lot more strict. I definitely track and measure everything. So now, I'm finding myself tending towards carnivore. I'm just vegetables. I do eat them, like, but I'll just have like a smaller portion than usual. I used to have these big side vegetables, but now I'm finding that I'd rather just have more meat and cheese. So that's what I'm doing. And in the middle there, I had, you know, a pretty even amount of meat and vegetables. So like for the most of my keto journey, I used to have like maybe a slab of meat and then like a big salad or like a big side of vegetables. For breakfast, you guys know I like my cheeses, but I've even been skipping breakfast now because I'm eating 2 meals a day. Just naturally, it happened that way. And there's no one right way to do keto. This is just what I kind of fall into, and that's just my way of doing it. But there are lots of other people out there that do it in totally different ways. So Mary said that she thinks that the most confusing part of following a keto diet is whether or not you count whole carbs or net carbs. And I've always done net carbs when it comes to things like vegetables or, well, I mean, that's about it, nuts and things like that. I never really knew that you could subtract sugar alcohols, so I never ate foods with lots of those, like sugar-free candies. I just didn't eat them because they always looked, you know, because there was no fiber. So they would be like, you know, oh, 15 grams of carbs per serving, and I was like, how do people eat this on keto? Apparently you can subtract the sugar alcohols, but I'm actually glad that I didn't know that because I avoided sugar-free candies and so I didn't crave them. So I don't know, that's just how I did it. I do net carbs for things like that have fiber. I take out the fiber and then I just count the rest of the sugar. But I do not take out sugar alcohols just because I didn't know that that was a thing, and so I never did it. DK asked, how do you handle family members that are critical? That was more of an issue in the beginning when I kind of started, but I lived far away from home. And then when I moved back down to my home, they kind of realized like, oh crap, what she's doing is working, because I come home and I lost like 100 pounds the first time I visited. So, I mean, they weren't very critical. My grandma thinks that I'm too skinny. So that's probably the only critical thing I've heard from family. And I think it's not that she's being critical. She'll offer me food, but she doesn't know what I can and can't eat. You know, she doesn't really know very much about the diet. But most of my family and friends, like, they know I make videos and they know I'm really into this lifestyle. So there is not an issue for me, but I say if people are being critical of you, if you're doing what you're doing and you're seeing results, don't worry about it. Only worry about maybe what your doctor says. Okay, so not a question from Natalia, but a comment. Focus on meats and vegetables, not fat. This is totally wrong. Keto diet is high fat, moderate protein, and low carb. Doesn't have to be high fat, like I said, especially if you're looking for weight loss. Don't even worry about your fat macro. If you're hungry, eat more fat, okay? But you definitely want your body to burn the fat from itself. You are consuming the fat, but you're just not eating it, okay? I have a whole slew of videos that talk about the misconception that we have to eat high fat on keto, because the only thing that you really need to do to be in a state of ketosis is to keep your carbs low. So we say about 20 to 25 net grams of carbs per day. Even Keto Connected talked about this, and I think that, you know, people trust them because they're such a big channel and they do lots of, you know, experiments and they have lots of information. So I will try and find that video and I'll try and link it down below as well. So, I mean, even if they talk about that, I think, you know, it's a misconception that we're trying to talk about more and kind of shed light on. But, you know, some people will do high fat and lose weight. Some people, I suggest, don't need to do high fat. Okay, so this wasn't really about keto, but I feel like it kind of goes with, you know, my diet and things. She said, why do you look so pale? Almost vampire white. I know you must be eating enough iron-rich animal proteins. So why are you so pale? Well, I just, ever since I've, you know, gotten past the age of 25, I really don't tan anymore. And I use sunscreen and I don't know, I don't go out in the sun. I know it's bad for your skin. I don't want wrinkles. I'm almost 30. I'm starting to see them here and here. So I'm trying to avoid things that'll damage the skin. Michelle asked, so many people say Splenda is not good on keto. Can you talk about that? I have used Splenda since the beginning of my keto journey, really only when I cook or make things. But I do eat artificial sweeteners. I drink diet soda and people get on to me about it, but you know, sorry. I do what's right for me and what'll help me maintain and not go crazy, and while I can still lose weight and maintain weight. So, I mean, if you want to use Splenda, you know, I say if it works and you're not worried or you don't think that there are any health consequences to that, because I know that some people think that it'll cause cancer. But I've looked into that. I haven't found anything that convinced me that it is worse than, I don't know, some other artificial sweetener. So that's up to you. I say it worked for me and I used it a lot, especially when I was doing keto baking. So yes. So use Splenda if you want and disregard the haters. Drake asks, do you drink a cup of coffee every night before bed? And is it to help out with ketosis? I do. Usually I have a cup of coffee at some point in the evening. It's not to help, it's just because, I don't know, I don't want anything else to drink and just the coffee sounds good. I think we do like, you know, as a ketogenic community, I feel like we do like coffee. I think the only thing about coffee is just make sure if you're adding cream or creamer that those can have carbs and calories. So just make sure that you're tracking those. I just drink mine black. Usually I have it at night with maybe my dessert, my sweet treat, so like some peanut butter or some dark chocolate. Tina asks, can you do a video on how people treat you after weight loss? I do want to do one soon. I think that would be a fun topic to talk about. Not specifically relating to keto, but I mean, I lost weight because of it. So though the experiences that I've had in the last 2 years, ever since I've gotten down from 320, they've been interesting. And I do want to talk about that and just kind of share that experience. So yes, that will come out soon. Speaking of videos that I'm planning, last year I did 12 days of Vlogmas, and I think I'm going to do that again this year. Leave me a comment down below if you would like to see that, because it does take a lot of time. So I just like to know if there's interest for 12 days of Vlogmas. It'll be about just, you know, keto stuff, non-keto stuff, maybe some shopping, just depends on what's happening in my life. And when I say shopping, I mean probably either groceries or maybe even present shopping for gifts for Christmas. Okay, so Jennifer asked, what's your opinion on using low carb wraps? I find that I tend to not eat, I've never really eaten like low carb breads or tortillas. I've never even made fat head pizza dough or like cloud bread or whatever it's called. And that's just because I have these lines in the sand that I do not cross. So my lines include breads, like artificial keto-friendly breads. I do not eat anything that's like cake or corn or potatoes or fruit. I haven't had a fruit in a long time. So for me, just any type of bread like that, it's just one of my lines. And my lines are arbitrary. Your lines are probably different. You might think, how come this one's over the line, but this one's in the line for me? It just is. And that's kind of what keeps me going. It's like, I know what my rules are. And since I know what my rules are, I can follow them more easily. So and another reason why I don't eat those types of things, like the wraps and things, is because I just think that they're food vessels, right? I can make, you know, a burrito bowl into a salad. So I would just prefer to not spend calories or carbs on food vessels. I'd rather eat it like with a lettuce wrap or something. Manal asked, what about intermittent fasting? I've actually kind of fallen into a natural intermittent fasting schedule. I probably eat for about 6 hours throughout the day. I skip breakfast. So I go from I eat my dinner early. So we'll start with dinner. I eat around 5:15 for dinner, and it's a big meal. It's my biggest meal of the day. Then I, you know, go through the evening, I go to sleep, and then when I wake up, I do not have breakfast. I just have 2 cups of coffee now. I used to eat cheese, but I'm not hungry at the moment for breakfast. And then I'll go throughout the day until about 12, I'll eat my lunch. So I do eat for about 6 hours in a 6-hour window. So naturally I've fallen into that, but you don't have to. I lost most of my weight. Well, I lost pretty much all of my weight, the 170 pounds, eating 2 to 3 meals a day. So you don't have to intermittent fast to lose weight. You might want to if that's something you would want to try. I'm sure it works. Lots of people say it works for them. So give it a try, see if it works. Linda asked, how many grams of protein do you usually eat every day? So I'm tall, I'm 5'11", just south of 6 feet. So I try and get between 80 and 100 grams of protein a day. And I say that you should always hit your protein goal because you don't want to have hair and nail issues like I did. It's going to be different based on your size. You can calculate that. I will link the keto calculator that I have always used. It's the one that I found on the subreddit for keto. And it works for me, so hopefully it'll work for you. Okay, Coffee with Nadia asked, am I right to assume that carnivore keto is like Atkins? What's the difference? So I actually made a whole video about this, the difference between keto and Atkins. So keto, you know, we eat vegetables and things. Carnivore keto, you take out the vegetables and eat mostly meats and cheeses. So with Atkins though, what it is you start out in phase 1 using a ketogenic diet, but then through the other phases, you increase your carbs until you gain weight. Okay, so the goal of Atkins is to find out how many maximum carbs you can eat without gaining weight. So that's just the difference that I found. Okay, Ma D asked, Allie, do calories from your experience count on keto? Please clarify, as many claim that you can eat all that you want. I'm a short woman and really just need daily 1,200 calories. Thanks. Yes, calories matter. And even if you just want to call it your fat macro, you need to be at a deficit so that your body eats the fat from your body for weight loss. And if you hit maintenance and you overeat on calories, you'll probably gain weight. Calories matter. The amount of fat that you eat matters. So yeah, I mean, especially if you're, you know, a 5'1" woman who's very petite, you are not going to need to eat, you know, 150, 200 grams of fat a day. I don't know if the 1,200 calories is her deficit or her maintenance. But yeah, some people are going to have lower calorie, you know, requirements. And I know that we talk about how we get to eat such good food on keto, which is true. You just really can't just go overboard on all the fatty stuff. You really got to make sure that you're not overeating, which I think is something that people have a big misconception about, and I'm kind of here to try and correct it. I experienced steady weight loss because after every 10 pounds that I hit my little mini goals, I recalculated my calorie needs at a deficit. So after every 10 pounds, I had a new calorie limit. So yes, I say calories matter. I have a video that talks about that if you'd like to check it out. And then a fun one. A loving housewife asked, why do you keep calling your boyfriend the muscle? Because he's muscly. No, actually I get that a lot. I thought it'd be obvious, but apparently it's not. That's okay. That's always fun. Okay, folks, that is going to be about it for today. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you learned a few things, because that's what this channel is all about, is just trying to get some information out there if you're struggling or if you're stalling or if things are going right and you just kind of want confirmation that it's okay the way that you're doing things. Hey, that's what I'm here for. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to check out my new videos. And if you want to find me on social media, I have a Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and a blog. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.